So the big question is this: how are real estate agents like us, who didn't cheat and take on venture capital and are spending money from our own pockets, how do we compete with these billion-dollar real estate tech companies and iBuyers in a way that lets us bring our services and the things we believe in out into the world and still remain profitable? That's the big question. And on this podcast, we'll give you the answers. Welcome to the iBuyer experiment.
What's cracking?
I always think that you said hi guys every time that starts.
Yeah.
Well, you know that's actually not. That's just like for us. When we do that and we edit it in.
Okay, so you're not hearing
the intro.
that.
They don't actually.
All right, they don't hear it.
So
we got the two Zoodealio bookends here.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is the first time that we've ever done this standing up. I'm not too sure how I feel
What do you guys
about it
think?
yet.
It's
New format.
It's a little crammed. We did like our you don't have a computer up, but if you did, we would be kind of like
computer clashing.
For all those visual listeners.
Yeah. So
Well,
tell us what you think. Do you like this
on a panel.
or do you like that?
we really wanted to stand up because we feel like, when you stand up, you have a little more energy, right?
Well, I will say it's one thing Elliot and I noticed doing a lot of the Zooms and stuff. At one point, we
100%.
were like, you know what? We should stand up. And I felt like our energy is better when we stand up.
Well, for sure.
So you stand now.
100%.
Do you, Keith?
Depends on the circumstance, what I'm in the mood for.
Do you stand or do you sit when you Zoom?
I start the conversation sitting down, and then I end up finding myself pacing back and forth.
I need to make sure my vocals sound good. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la.
Okay. Yes. That was great.
Those are all pro tips, everybody.
Yep.
Keith is a pacer. It's hard, but
Yes.
you can't really pace when you're like on a
Yeah,
Zoom.
not on Zoom, but I just meant like even on a general like either sales call or important call.
Yes, I do the
Yes.
same thing. Get like all going. Hey, so
Burn a hole in the
we
carpet.
have something cool to share with you. We are doing a workshop, a marketing and advertising workshop in July 29th. It's a Thursday from 11 a.m. to 2:30 at the Alamo Theater in Tempe. What's really cool is we're going to have food. For those
Beer.
of you that like to drink, there might be a beverage
beer and
of your
cocktails.
choice. And we have a really neat guest speaker. So a few weeks ago, he was on the podcast. His name is James Rembert, and he is gaining national acclaim. He is the Zillow Killer.
The Zillow Killer.
So the Zillow Killer will be here, guys.
And we're going to have some Zillow executives, right? And we're going to put him in the cage right up front. And
Gladiator style. This
Throw
is
food
not-
at him.
I didn't say the Coliseum. I said the Alamo. And so, no, we
so-
won't have that. But he will be here, and it's going to be great. And he's flying all the way in just for this, you guys. It's going to be such an
From
awesome
New York,
workshop.
right?
Philadelphia.
That's right, Philly.
And it is going to be a free event. We're really
Free.
super stoked. I mean,
free
come
with
on.
food and beer. Come on, guys. Like, really?
We're just trying to say, like,
That's
you
amazing.
know what? Last year was just rough, and a lot of y'all didn't get to these in-person events. I know we sure didn't, and so we are excited to kind of bring it back.
Yeah.
Well, and he's going to be there. I'd imagine he's going to be talking about some, how to generate business, generate through ad agency. He owns an ad agency, so that's one of the cool things. I'm sure he's going to be dropping a lot of knowledge and content around Facebook, generating new business in the real estate space.
That's right. Like online strategies, we all know that's where it's at. I think internally we were talking today a little bit about, obviously if you guys are listening to us and you follow us, you probably know that we are the creators of a software called Zoodealio, and Zoodealio is essentially an iBuyer software for you to use to generate new business like an iBuyer and to deploy it against not only to get new leads, but to your existing database. And we were talking today about maybe some of the challenges with going to your existing clientele with this sort of value proposition. I would love to stew on that for a little bit.
Yes. So actually, I was just talking with a subscriber in California, and they were running some ads, and we were talking about what their traction result that they were getting with that. And one of the things we actually dove into was the power of being able to take this type of messaging to meet your existing database and not losing out on that, and knowing that they have the option to bring that cash offer, to bring these unique options and instant solutions to them. So to me, it's one of those musts. You got to start communicating this to people that know you, like you, trust you, right? Like that's the whole point of your website and creating that option.
Well, I'd like to take a step back on that because I think it starts a little bit before that. From whether you happen to be a Zoodealio subscriber or not, I think this is going to be a very common objection and maybe some fear that I get when talking with agents. They don't know where to start. they grasp the concept of, oh yeah, I understand there may be people who want to get the cash offer. Well, I don't know anyone who buys houses. So if you aren't a Zoodealio subscriber, here's what you need to do. You need to do a little bit of research and find out what the cash buyers are in your area outside of the Zillow Open Door and Offer Pads. And then find out what other alternative home selling solutions there are.
There's a ton of them out there right now.
Right, but the thing though is
Growing
from
daily.
my personal experience with talking with people on a weekly basis about these things, they don't think about it. They don't know about it. They don't know who it is.
A lot of them don't even think that they'll work with real estate agents. But what we
Right.
know and what we're doing in our software is that these companies will work with real estate agents. I mean, they're basically lenders, right? These selling solutions, they're
Yep.
lenders. And they
Fintech.
want to work with their fintech lenders, and they want to work with real estate agents.
Right. And so we've created with a lot of these relationships, or we know what cash buyers are in your marketplace. So after talking with us, they find such high value just beyond the software and the lead generation aspect of it, being able to have that information, to have the source to go to when they do get those leads. So if you're a Zoodealio subscriber, make sure that you have that information in your tool belt. And if you're not, at least that's a great place to start, to where now you can tool yourself up. But it does take some due diligence and research, and that's where you need to start. Because without that, you can get a lead, but if you don't know who to take it to, I think that's where agents really struggle the most.
Well, there's so many agents out there right now that, again, even though the market is incredibly busy across most of America, there's a lot of agents that are tired of losing out, listings, deals, clients, because they don't have an instant solution.
Absolutely.
So to go off of what Jason said a second ago, I think it's one of the most huge points is the iBuyer. It really is aimed to disrupt the real estate agent, the real estate space. Yet FinTech, which has just as much money and more than some of these, is all aimed to empower the real estate agent. So these are things that you guys need to tool, agents, everybody, us, need to tool ourselves up with to be able to meet that consumer and be able to deliver that same done solutions, right? That's one of the things I'm using is like today's consumer is looking for done solutions.
So I'm an agent, and I'm like, well, I got my cash offer website, and
You are an agent, actually.
well, I am, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like,
It just sounded hypothetical. I'm an
it's
agent.
not hypothetical, but I'm
scenario.
hypothetical.
His
I'm an
license
agent.
got revoked.
Whoa.
That is fake news.
Fake news.
And I'm a little bit nervous that if I give them my cash offer website and give them some other selling solutions, maybe they'll then realize that there's an option to go to an open door, and I go to an open door and they give a great offer and they accept it, and then they go around the agent.
Yes. Yes.
What do you say to that?
Well, it's a conversation that we talk about a lot. We think that, if you're out there and you're promoting this cash offer website, that maybe you'll think that your client will sidestep you, right? And when maybe they would have reached out to you.
And that's a fear to a lot of agents.
It could be. Yeah. I think what we've all talked about is the marketplace is being primed, and consumers, sellers are going to go directly no matter what.
Well, let's talk about the reality, right? Let's just say what it is. These disruptors, again, we don't know exactly, but as we've heard, how much money are they spending in these major metropolitan markets?
Hundreds of millions of dollars to market to your database.
Exactly.
Your database. So
Your database of people, you have their phone
they're not
numbers,
stopping.
you
They're
could call them yourself.
growing.
So that's the whole point, right? Like they are mailing to them. They're seeing them on TV, hearing them on the radio, seeing them on social media, hearing about all these solutions and whatnot and these options. And they're seeing the agent as obsolete because they don't have these same type of solutions to the problem. Yet the agent does have access to it, and they got to broadcast their message to the marketplace, period.
Yeah, but they're using predictive analytics
Yep.
to say, hey, they're showing signs of selling, so we're going to start marketing crazy to them.
Well,
and so
realtors can access predictive analytics too.
Yep.
This is not a game you can't play in. And I think that's the takeaway, is if you want to offer these really cool selling propositions, like right now we're working on a partnership to where we can offer all of the Zoodealio subscribers and their sellers an option to sell the home and lease it back for up to 12 months. That is an amazing selling proposition. And if you want to empower yourself, you can do the exact same thing that the 72 Solds and the Open Doors and the OfferPads are doing. You can go direct to consumers and you can give that amazing selling proposition. You can use your Zoodealio cash offer website to capture those leads, and then you have a seat at the table. And when you get that seat at the table, if they have an open door offer on the table already, that's okay, right? Like, you are still the one that can guide them through the process, and that is what consumers are looking for.
Yeah.
Great point.
Let's break that down. So what these companies have done now for years is now train the home seller, hey, there's a different way to go about starting your home selling process. And that's with the cash offer. They are gaining your clients' mind share. And so, you know, that's where a company like Zoodealio comes into place, and all the other tactics that we're talking about right now. Now you can step in and say, hey, I can do this too. It just takes some time, some practice, and a little bit of mindset difference on how you go about business.
Yeah, and if you're a knock subscriber too, this is a great way to advertise your knock home swap, and actually get leads from advertising that. I mean, the actual submission will get you the lead.
Okay, so, and I feel like we're pivoting to an
This is
infomercial on
Zoodealio
Zoodealio. And
infomercial.
it's not. I think what this is just we're all obviously really passionate about what we're doing, and we're really passionate about how we're helping realtors across America combat these changes. And so I don't want it to be like an infomercial, because here's the other thing, and we talked about this earlier today, is what can the realtor be doing to stay relevant? And that's developing trust with people at scale.
Yep.
How do they do that?
What the Zillow Killer teaches.
That's true. Come Thursday, July 29th, and at the Alamo, 11 a.m. to 2:30, we're going to have massive information going out about it. But do come, register for that event. Stay tuned for it.
It's gonna be fun to have a big group of people and have beer too. Beer and cocktails.
Jay's
and lunch.
He's been dry or something for a while. He keeps mentioning beer.
I know this is so out of character. This dude
know.
does not. He doesn't
don't even
drink.
drink beer,
He doesn't
so.
even drink.
I know, that's what I'm teasing.
So it's funny. It's comical to
So,
hear that from you.
Between now and then, let's throw some things in the pot. What can they do right now?
Well, the main reason that I brought that up is because what he talks about that I could do better at, for sure, is putting yourself in the digital marketplace. What Kayla was just saying, creating that brand awareness and letting the world know who you are, and specifically your marketplace. You can do that at a very high level. And when you do that, you're building your own brand, you're building trust in the community. And then when they see some other cool value propositions that you're doing in the real estate industry, they go, I want to talk to him. And so that's really at the highest level what you should be doing.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get tactical. Elliot, what does tactical look like?
Well, I mean, there's lots of different ways to do it. As we all know, I think it's easy. Instead of throwing the whole, kitchen table and et cetera at somebody, I think we break it down, make it simplistic. If first and foremost, right now, everybody's on social media, right? So you should be putting your message, letting them know what's going on, how you're helping your community, is servicing your unique selling proposition out on social media, something that we could all do instantaneously right now. And then the other thing that we can all do is we all have this thing in our hand, right, for social media, or let's download our contacts and put them into our CRM and run a simple 12-touch campaign. Even just start with that by an email with certain calls to action. So,
but
that's just the tip of the iceberg of some immediate things that we could do that would help with communicating immediately.
But that's from a prospecting perspective.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily building. That's one aspect of it. So
Right.
How do you build brand awareness?
What do you think, Jay? Tactical.
Brand awareness. Document, don't create.
That is a Gary V-ism.
Yes, it's a Gary V-ism.
What does that mean?
It means all these social media apps have stories now,
Even
Instagram stories,
YouTube
Facebook,
now.
YouTube, LinkedIn,
all of them.
if you're not
Stories.
using stories every day, start there. That's it. Document what you're doing in your business, in your life,
Yeah.
and people will naturally come to see you. They'll watch you over and over and over again. And when someone watches you over and over again every day,
top of mind.
they'll tend to do business with you once they're in that cycle of a home sale.
There was a real estate coach I used to really pay attention to. I don't remember his name at the top off the top of my head. Anyways, he used to always say, "You don't have to be great; you just have to be there." Right, and it was one of those messages about being consistent in your message. And to Jay's point, that's what I was saying before. Is look, this is right here. We're all using this and that. Is the stories factor? The other thing I like about stories is if it's it's not that. It's only there for 24 hours in most cases, right? So it's only like top of mind. And the cool thing is if Jay shares a story how he solved a problem for a buyer or a seller, well, I'm watching that. Jay's my buddy, or he sold me a house a year ago, and I'm like, oh, dang, all right. Well, that makes sense to me. Yep, I want to reach out to him, right? It's all about timing in the market at the moment. Like I said, you don't have to be great. You just have to be there.
But a lot of agents will, what do I say? How do I do it? And that's where the document don't
Hit us up. I'll
comes
give you
from.
some scripts for free. I got miles and miles of scripts. Put the camera in your face, whatever you want.
But you don't need scripts. You just need to document what you're doing.
Well, but I'll even give it for the people that have stage fright. I'll empower you. Make it your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll empower you.
I like it. I'm a huge stories fan. For any of you that want to know what my days look like, you can go follow me at Kayla Leos on Instagram and on Facebook, and you can see my stories.
Yep. Everybody's always like that. I
Same
talk
thing.
to agents who are like, I gotta be like Kayla on her social media. She's like she's a social superstar.
No, I will say though, I was telling Jason the other day, I'm like, I just don't want to make content lately. Like I do not want.
You go through
I
those.
don't want the camera in my face like ever.
Yeah.
So it's like forcing. Sometimes
Yep.
it's forcing, but that's one of those things like.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, or just you got to do it anyway. Like if we only did things when we felt like it,
Yep.
I don't think we'd be here
Absolutely.
every day working if
And you can, you can go overboard with it too. I think there's some people that really go overboard and maybe post a little bit too much. But
Were you looking at me? I'm just kidding.
no, I
Kind
think
of.
there's a balance there. I
Just
think
kidding.
you need to, the person that is constantly, documenting everything that they're doing.
Oh,
I
too
mean,
much.
it's-
Yeah.
Like,
And you
uh,
look at the little dots on top of all the stories, and there's like
Oh.
a zillion of them. You're
Yeah.
like, up next.
Yeah, I usually exactly. I'll
it's a
look at
little
one
bit
or two and be like,
too many to really get into. But here's the thing, it doesn't like make me like not ever watch them. So
interesting.
but I may watch a few and then just go, all right, next, and but at least they know you're there. And what I believe is that when you're doing that consistently, people believe that you're confident, you're brave, and you're competent too.
You
at your
got
job.
it. Interesting. I think that's the takeaway is consistency.
And people
Yes.
want to do business that are
Consistency.
people that are competent.
The other thing too, like I guess if we can dive in here on this last minute, because I think again, if we look at demographically from who is in the real estate community, it's obviously a lot of women, and they're all 50 and up, right? That's demographically what the real estate space is. And so talking to a lot of our users and everybody that's involved, they a lot of times will say, I'm technology illiterate. You guys are gonna make me laugh.
You can laugh, Elliot.
You guys, I'm technology illiterate. I don't know how it's the other one.
Oh.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to handle
There we go.
all of. Yeah, see, there it is.
That was a fail right there.
I don't know how to handle technology. Like I can post on Facebook and whatever else, but all that other stuff, I'm afraid. I'm whatever else. Here's the thing I love about technology, right? Like in all of us being on this journey and whatnot, it's amazing what happens when you're willing to just actually plug in and try it, right? And realize that there is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and that's okay, right? Like be willing to fail. And then it's a funny how we all, if you, you're going to get what you've always got unless you change what you're doing. And so it's just like, it's these little things. It's, and it's also not just social media. I think that that's obviously a huge thing. It's something that we could do easy and immediately, but it's also finding things that fit your eye. At the end of the day, it's as simple as this: communicate your message however you see fit and fits with your personality.
Great point. It reminds me of something that Brendan Bouchard used to say. He's like, if you don't know how to do it, it's your job to find out how to do it and figure it out. That's your job. Like,
So
you don't know,
true.
so people are technology. I'm technology literate. I'm an agent. Well, then it's your job
Yeah,
to figure out that piece of technology.
Right. Unless you're going to work exclusively with a population that doesn't adopt technology.
Which is dying.
Well, and again, I was just talking to that somebody in California. Is in Northern California, where the population is all older, and he was still talking about how the fact that some of them he can't text because of the phones. However, he did say that the good majority of them, he's seen it happen in the last 2 years, where they're now responding to text left and right, and it's not that they still have home phones, and he just will, try to cue in on the other numbers from there. And so I'm just like, I'm looking at all these changes go on. It is right. So now it's like my 80-year-old grandma will text message me now, where 5 years ago that wouldn't have happened.
She's 85.
Okay, well, see.
And she will text. That's cool.
Yeah, if it makes sense or not, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all agree times are changing, and I think we stay the same. It's a human relationship business, but maybe the methods at which we connect with people change. And I got to tell you, I for one am grateful for technology showing up. I think it actually helps us in the fact that we have these tools. Like, could you imagine trying to combat some of these changes that are happening in real estate without social media?
No.
Without the ability to run ads like anybody else? And I got to tell you too, with the changes that are happening with iOS and the opt-ins and all of that, it's a game changer for advertisers. Like, we're at a point where we will be able to arbitrage iBuyers because they're not going to be able to target and segment and
Absolutely
connect
it's a
to.
game changer.
It's a game changer.
It actually leveled the playing field.
100%.
For people that don't have absurd budgets, it leveled the playing field.
Can't spy on people anymore.
Yeah, right.
That's what it feels. That's what it feels
Unless
like.
they give you permission to.
There
Right.
you go.
And how many times now me on my apps have been asked, I don't know, at least a half a dozen times on a half a dozen different apps, like, can we track? And I'm, nope, every time, nope. Will you authorize this app? Nope. Like, we're all hitting no. Who's hitting yes?
Who's hitting yes?
don't.
If you're
Are you
hitting
hitting
yes,
yes?
please
don't know.
email support@zoodealio.com and we'd like to interview you.
After
We wanna track you.
After Edward Snowden came forward, I never hit yes again. No, I'm just
Snowden.
kidding.
That's a good movie, actually.
All right, guys.
Crazy story.
Do we have anything else?
No, that's good. Just, no.
So don't forget, July 29th from 11 to 2:30, we're going to be at the Alamo in Tempe. If you're interested, please email support@zoodealio.com and we'll get you a ticket. It includes lunch and a beer.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
You're
a
welcome.
few.
You're welcome to
we'll
come
be-
out of state too.
And we got the Zillow Killer flying all the way in from
Yes.
Philadelphia. James
Rembert.
Hey, and by the way, we're going to start reading the reviews to our podcast live on our podcast. So if you would
What?
like your review of the iBuyer experiment, please
What?
drop it. And if you review us, we'll read it live next week.
Yeah, all you folks in New Mexico and San Diego, you're only like 6 hours away. Make it a day trip, stay the night, check out Phoenix, and have a good time. That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna actually.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I guess we want more non-subscribers.
We truly appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today on the iBuyer Experiment podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe so that you're notified when we launch new podcasts. We'll catch you on the next one.
Show you the money.